Hey, it's Kate Stillman with Yoga Health Coaching and yogahealer.com. And I just want to talking to wellness pros really right now and exactly how to think like a wellness pro, especially if you're interested in your own unique abilities and using your unique abilities to take your wellness career to the next level. So this is a short lesson and I hope that in the process of it, you're really actually able to see a vision of your future that inspires you, that inspired you to get in the game, that you're able to see it through fruition. All right, so this is the deal: is a lot of people since COVID had started making online products and courses, and I just want to show where this is on the economic value ladder and why it's not really a safe way to go. It's not really a good way to go in terms of having a wellness lifestyle if you're a wellness pro. So this is a progression of economic value. And where making an online product or courses is it falls under making a good, which means you're going to hit low commodity pricing and lower value. There's actually just a much better way to run a wellness career, which is to go higher on the economic value ladder from making the good into guided transformation. And so what exactly is guided transformation? Well, guided transformation hits the highest value of the economic value ladder, meaning people are willing to pay more for transformation. And the crazy thing to me is it's like, that's what wellness pros are super into doing. We love guiding people to transformation, to having a better life, to having a healthier body, to having a better diet, to having better connection with their kids, to having better relationships with their parents, having more control of their time on their schedule, right? And what is the super cool thing about it is that's where you end up with premium pricing. Now, the problem back here with making an online good, and we see this all the time, where people are like, I know, I'll make an online product and I'll charge, we'll just say $200 for my online product. Now, part of the problem with this is, like, say we want to earn 100K as a wellness pro. And I would say, it's a good first goal. It's a good goal. Maybe not the first goal. Maybe it's a good second goal. It's not an end all be all goal. So whatever we design into how we trade in the marketplace, we want it to be scalable if we want to be able to make more than 100K. So it's important to build that into our thinking processes in the future. So if I'm thinking that, like, okay, I want to make 100K a year and I'm going to create an online course or product, or maybe I already have one that I created that's worth $200, I quickly realize I need to sell 500 of these in order to make $100,000 a year. And maybe you're thinking, but that's not the only way I make money. I also teach one-on-ones. If we go back to this, I also deliver services that might be one-on-one clients. I also teach group classes that would fall under staged experiences, or I do some retreats or that sort of thing. And maybe it's a mix of being online and being offline, et cetera. The issue with all of this is that we still want to look at how much time is going into each transactional sale, or anytime you're getting paid to do something. And we want to make sure that you're getting the most out of guided transformation as you can as a wellness pro, because you're so well suited to trade, again, at the highest value in the marketplace today. Again, that's premium pricing and the highest value, meaning this is the most value you can exchange. So you'll feel so good at the end of the day because people will be like, oh my gosh, you changed my life. I'm fortunate that I get to hear that almost every day of my life. Someone coming up to me, whether it's on a live call or whether it's via messaging, right? That's like, your work has changed my life. That's guided. That's the value of guided transformation. And you're all, as wellness pros, you're all capable of guiding the transformation. Okay, so how do you do it? Well, let's first look at how you don't do it. So if we have to sell 500, and I have sold 500 things before, it's hard. It's hard even for me. And I have like a big email list and I have a digital marketing team and all these things, right, to help me sell that 500. It's still hard. It's still hard for us to come up with a plan to sell 500 of a single thing in a year. That's going to be a challenge to us. Even if it's under $200, it's still going to be a challenge to us, meaning we're going to have to put a lot of time and energy into digital marketing. And I don't know about you, but like, I did not become a wellness pro so that I could become a digital marketer. I do not want to be a digital marketer. Maybe you do, in which case, like, great. But from what we know from meeting with so many wellness pros over time is that we actually do not value becoming a digital marketer in terms of like, the kind of time that we want to spend in our business. We want to be helping people. We want to be working with people. So what we quickly see is that this $200 price point, that's not actually the way to go. And so instead, what we want to look at with guiding transformation, because there's premium pricing and it's of the highest value, if you take that 100K a year and instead you say, well, maybe the transformation I can guide is worth $5,000 as an investment for a person for a year, then pretty quickly we get to one number divided by the other, and we realize we would only need to sign up 20 people in a year in order to hit our income goal. Now, many of you are thinking, but I'm here to save the world. I want to save everybody. Everyone's a perfect client for me. In which case you haven't learned much about marketing yet. And believe me, I used to think that way too. So like no harm, no foul. It's just a natural stage in learning. And soon you learn that like it's the like trying to help everyone is like insanely competitive, right? And that it's really hard actually to get one person signed up for a $200 project, or one person signed up for a $5,000 product. Now, interestingly, a lot of you are thinking now like, well, it's easier to get someone signed up for $200 than it is for $5,000. And usually that's because you haven't yet learn the marketing and sales skills to sign up a person at $5,000. If we understand that there's a value in the transformation that you can guide, right? That there's a value that's greater than $5,000 a year to the person, then all of a sudden it actually makes sense to make that investment, especially if it's fun, especially if it's like the person's feeling better and better every day and they're starting to save money in unexpected ways. And that's what we find in our course members, is that that's what happens. In some of our course members, things like in yoga health coaching, where we're driving people to a return on their investment, we expect our yoga health coaches to get a return on their investment within a few months of investing in the course. Like that's how results driven you can be in terms of guiding the transformation. Now, many of you have also created things that you haven't been able to sell, and regardless of the price point. And so at that point, usually there's a problem with how you're structuring your time around marketing and what you actually need to be doing to enroll 20 people at $5,000, which is really different than enrolling 500 people at $200. That is a much bigger problem to solve, the 500 at $200 than the 20 at $5,000. And if you haven't fully wrapped your mind around that, that just means that there's stages of the training that you just don't have yet. And that's okay. Like that's what we do in yoga health coaching. Now, lastly, what I want to say to this is that when you get to look at what kind of transformation would you guide, right? Exactly where are you going to guide transformation? What is the starting and what is the ending of that? So what that might look like, I call it the A to B. So someone starts out here, right? And they have health issues. And these are their health issues. Or maybe you work more with relationship issues, or maybe you work more with mental health issues. In any case, they have issues. And based on your training, based on how you could guide them to transformation, they would have an experience where they would end up at B, which would be the resolution. And what I have found is that this takes time, and that the best length of time in general is about a year, because people can make a lot of change in a year. They can have a lot of ups and downs within a year. And that's often what this looks like, is it's not just a linear, it's just not that linear, the progress, right? Instead, what it actually looks like is people get ahead. Well, actually, that makes this a little darker, right? They get ahead and then they get behind, and then they get ahead and then they get behind, and then they get ahead and they get behind. And this is what happens in a year. It's not a linear progression. And sometimes in this process, they have a major catastrophe, right? And so like a major catastrophe, this could be an accident. This could be a death in the family. This could be losing a job. This could be all of a sudden getting all of their addictions triggered by something, even though they thought they were over their addictions. So you need an amount of time for people to have a transformation. So this is the deal. If you're like, I get it, I really get it, I would much rather enroll 20 people at $5,000 a year. That sounds like a much more sane way to run my wellness career. And I get that it scales. You could either then have 40 people at $5K a year, or you could have You can also go, I mean, some people will have a 10K a year program and have 20 people, and it scales then to $200,000 income. You guys, I demonstrate all of this in my own career at Yoga Healer. I'm not just pulling numbers out of the air. Like, this is what we do in Yoga Healer courses. And this is what we teach wellness pros how to do in yoga health coaching. And if you're thinking, you know what, I need to get on this, I actually need to have a major pivot in how I'm running my wellness career so that it works for my own wellness and it works to actually guide the kind of transformation that I want to guide. I want to work with committed clients based on results. Then schedule a VIP session with us. There's a link right below here, and we'll help you figure out exactly what transformation you can guide and what you should price it at, and who your target group is of exactly who is the avatar that has these really specific health issues. Now, I know there's a lot of stuff being marketed to you as a wellness pro that's like, sell the 200, make a course and sell this course at less than $1,000 at $200. And I promise you that ends up in a digital marketing game. Digital marketing is insanely competitive. It gets more competitive every year. More and more companies are advertising on platforms like Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube and Google search. And it's very competitive. And what the problem is that you actually have to measure a ton of data to figure out how to make the system work for you. And you have to invest a ton of advertising dollars in order to get those kind of leads to make something like, to make something like 500 sales in a year in order to make 100K. Like, the amount of money you would put into an ad budget for that, you would have to sell 1,000 of them just to make and clear your 100K a year after all the expenses. How do I know? Because I do participate in digital marketing. I know a lot about it. And it's really, really tough on most wellness pros. I want you guys to succeed. It's so important to me that you guide the best transformation that you can, that you get invested clients, and I can show you exactly how to do that. And we'll start to map out exactly what is the transformation that you are most uniquely designed to guide, given your own healing journey and given your unique trainings and unique abilities coming in. How do we get you to package that? And how do we figure out exactly who the avatar is that you're most suited to serve right now? So enjoy.